Hello, everybody. I'm Samuel Stubbs from yardbarker.com, joined here by Lane Riggs, the most recent winner in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Lane, I remember when you were on here, I think last December, somewhere around that time, we were talking about next time we have you on the show, it'd be great to have you with the trophy. And you did just that. You kind of spoke that into existence on that day, and you are now a NASCAR winner, a Truck Series winner. Thank you for joining us. How does it feel?
Yeah, it's been a whirlwind of emotions. A lot of weight lifted off of me and pressure. Yeah, we did speak it right into existence. It's pretty crazy. It happened in my first year, my rookie season, especially with what we've had and the stuff that we've had to go through at the beginning of the season to have really tough runs and a lot of bad luck and mechanical failures and getting in wrecks and to come back to have a fifth, and then win in my first season, especially in the playoffs. When all the guys in the playoffs are just on their game, it really means a lot.
Yeah, I noticed that. All the talk going into any NASCAR playoff for any series is the playoffs, the championship, and you guys kind of upended that. Everybody was talking about the 38 at the end and not the playoff drivers because you guys were so dominant. So, take us inside your mind those last few laps. You're going for your first win in your rookie season, like you mentioned. What are you thinking over the final 10, 5 laps of this race? Were you nervous and just kind of counting down, hoping you get to the flag? What were you feeling?
I think everybody, including all my fans, family, they were just saying, please don't let the yellow come out. Nobody have a caution. Nobody spin out, including me. And I was up there passing lap traffic, trying to be conservative with them. You don't really want to rattle the lap traffic because they tend to, mess up sometimes. And I remember looking in front of me, and some guy was scraping the outside wall in front of me. I'm like, oh no, please, like just get it off the wall. Let's just get it to the finish, guys. We've gone this long green. Let's just go ahead and finish it off. Um, and I remember my spotter Josh. He said white flag, and I was like, it's over. We've won. That seals the deal right there. I got to bring it around one more time and not wreck. So yeah, and then I come across the line. I couldn't even see the track. I was crying in the helmet. It's just so many years of trying and working, and just to be able to race in the truck series, let alone win. It's like wow. It's like all your childhood dreams and desires have finally been fulfilled. It's there's nothing to describe it. That's why we all do it.
It is that culmination of hard work that, like you mentioned. What do you think this says about you and your team? Because, like you mentioned, you're on a hot streak right now. You finish as a fifth, and first, and you're one of the favorites here as we go to another short track at Bristol. What does this say about your team? That even though you had that rough start, you've been able to show some resolve and get back into the thick of things and pick up a victory.
I think it really just shows how talented everybody is at every level in our team. Sure, we have a lot of potential, and we weren't quite meeting that potential at the beginning of the year. I mean, I was new. I'm still trying to learn every single race. I'm nowhere near feel like I know what I'm doing yet. My crew chief Dylan, he's a rookie as well. He's never crew chiefed in his life. He's trying to figure that out. The management side of it, how to run it during the race, just kind of getting that calmness to make all the right decisions and never look back and regret anything. He's gotten a lot better, and just everybody on the crew to preparing the truck, understanding what I like, just making it where everything's a lot seamless, where we can all focus on the things that are really important to us. Everybody's put a lot of really hard work into it, and I think that to have such a rough start to the beginning to then win in the same year, we didn't have to wait over the off season or hope that we can just get our first win next year, which is what after the tough beginning, I would have been okay with. Um, but yeah, just to do it right here in the first year, especially like you said, when everybody's on their game in the playoffs, it really shows what we have and the potential that we have to come. And we're still, like I said, we're still just trying to figure out what's going on. Still, we're still learning, and we're still trying to get a hang of it. And we already won. It's like, well, wow, well, that was really hard, but now we know how to do it again. It's everybody says, well, the second one's going to come easier. I'm like, not really. It's going to be just as hard as the first one. Now we know how to do it and what it takes to be winners.
You do, and you mentioned getting that weight off your shoulders, not having to go into the offseason thinking, okay, gotta win, gotta win. How can this win translate into momentum for next year? You know how to win. You have that winning pedigree behind you. What do you think the 38 can do next year? I know you still got 6 more races to chase more trophies, but looking forward a little bit to 2025, what do you think you guys can do?
Yeah, I mean, I think that we're showing right now that we're championship contenders. If we would have done this one race earlier at Richmond, or just even pointed into the playoffs, we would have been, P1 in standings right now. So, it kind of makes you frustrated with the format of everything. But hey, considering how rough of a start we had, I didn't think we were deserving to be in the playoffs. That's just part of it, especially if we were old school points racing. We wouldn't even be close to it. So, but yeah, I think that this just shows we're going to be really tough to beat. I feel like we have a lot of things to get better on, especially the 1.5-mile tracks, the Vegas, Kansas coming up soon. We're going to see how Homestead goes. I feel like our 1.5-mile program is close, but we're not quite there yet. I'm really out of touch with that. That feels like that I'm the kind of the weak link at those racetracks, and I'm trying to figure out what I need to be better. And the trucks are getting better too. We're building new trucks in house now. We used to get them all from DGR. Frontrow Motorsports did as an affiliate team with DGR, but since the manufacturer split between us two teams, we've had to start doing all of our chassis in-house and all of our bodybuilding in-house. Pretty much everything we have to do in-house now. Nothing's outsourced anymore. So that didn't start till late last year when Zane was driving. They finally decided that, and he kind of struggled there a little bit at the end of the season. So I think that just shows I didn't get left with the perfect team. And, a lot of people are like, oh, well, the trucks won the championship before. You should be able to go out and win races right off the bat. No, this was pretty much a new race team. We're, like I said, we're all rookies, and all the veterans that were on the team that made the thing go around have moved on and gone different directions. So, yeah, I think that to start the new team here and already get a win with a new team, that just shows what we have in store for next year. And I think it's been just a gradual progression every single race, and I don't see that stopping for a long time.
Well, one important, I guess, maybe unofficial member of that 38 team that is building something really special is your dad, Scott Riggs, who was, of course, a driver for a long time, and he was there in Milwaukee with you. What was that like to get out of that truck and celebrate and be able to go up to him and see him after all he had done in his racing career and celebrate with him? And just what was that like to have someone so close to you, a mentor like that, who's also dad, with you for that moment?
Yeah, I'm really glad he was there. He was actually 50-50 on going to the race or not. He's like, I might not go this weekend. And I was like, okay, it doesn't really matter either way. I'm really glad he made the decision to come to the racetrack. But yeah, I mean, I couldn't have imagined if he wasn't there. It would have been, kind of tough if he wasn't there. He's been there for my first race, and pretty much I think he's only ever missed 3 of my races ever in my career because of other obligations. And that's a lot of races we've gone to and done together. So, yeah, I'm just super glad that he was there to be able to enjoy that with him, take some win pictures together. And, I wish it was somewhere like Martinsville we would have won at, where all my hometown fans were there and nobody in Milwaukee knew who I was. So I know there was a lot of Ty Majeski fans there that were disappointed leaving the grandstands. But, yeah, it was great to have him there as a part of it by my side. And, yeah, we just got to really spend some special memories together right there.
Yeah, the sport's always been a family sport, from the Frances, the Pettys, the Allisons, the Earnhardt. Now the Riggs family is in history forever with you winning that race. Now going forward, I know it's probably tough to look forward because you just want to celebrate in the moment, right? But we're 3 weeks removed from that race. You're looking at Bristol on a Thursday night. Forget Thursday night football. We got Thursday night trucks. It's going to be a good show, a playoff race at Bristol. The short tracks have been where the 38 team has shined this year. Wilkesboro, St. Louis, now Milwaukee getting that win. What are your expectations for Bristol? What do you think you can build on there from the spring, too? This is one of those rare tracks where the trucks runs 2 races at in the season. So how does that help you, and what are you looking at for Thursday night?
Yeah, this is going to be one of the more different ones, especially like you said, going back to it. First one of the year that we're doubling down at. And that was our first top 10 finish of the season was at Bristol. I think I snuck into the top 5 for a little while in the race. And I feel like it was a lot of missed potential when we left the racetrack. The truck really wasn't to my liking. I'd say, happiness of my truck, I was about a 3 out of 10 happy with it. I really left like, man, that truck wasn't that great and what I wanted. So now that we've learned each other over these, few short months, and Dylan knows what I need, especially at the short track stuff. After going to the sim, getting a lot better, I'm really confident going back into it. I've raced at Bristol a few times in the late model, so I know the track pretty well. Definitely not as good as the guys that have raced there twice a year for the past 10 years. But, I feel like it is a track right up my alley. It's a lot of driver characteristics to it and things you can do behind the steering wheel to make a difference. But yeah, I think that we have just as good of a shot to win as anybody else again. But yeah, we won at Milwaukee and we celebrated. And I think about Wednesday, I was like, I'm ready to go racing again. I'm ready to go back to the track. I feel rusty out of the seat. Luckily, I've been able to run a couple late model races since then to keep my feet wet. But these long breaks are really tough. I'm ready to get back in the truck and try to go defend my win.
It's going to be a fun one Thursday night in Bristol. My last question for you, Lane. The big headliner after your win, I saw it on SportsCenter. I saw it all these other places. It almost seemed to be talked about more than your performance on the track. How's your shoulder? You dislocated your shoulder when you were celebrating. How does it feel? And did that damper the celebration at all after your team popped it back in place for you?
No, if we were back in place, my medics, aka my pit crew, came over, and they were kind of confused at first, and they figured out the situation pretty quick, and thankfully we got it back in, and thank goodness for adrenaline because there was no pain really in the moment, and we just got to celebrate like it was nothing different. So I think that's kind of. It would have been different if I had to go to the care center or if, we put a damper on the celebration. I was like, I feel fine. I'm ready to keep going. Like, pretend like that didn't happen. But, there's pros and cons to it. People look at it and be like, that kind of stunk. He hurt himself. But, I think at the same time, there wouldn't have been any articles on SportsCenter. I think USA Today, Barstool, all the things like that they wouldn't have ever recognized Lane Riggs winning his first race. But a NASCAR driver dislocates his shoulder celebrating. Well, somebody's going to click on that article. And there's probably a whole lot of people that know my name now that probably wouldn't have before. It wasn't a publicity stunt for any means, but I've had trouble with my shoulder for a while now. Anybody that knows me at a short track, I broke my collarbone years ago riding dirt bikes, and I've dislocated my shoulder. I think that was the 9th time I've done it. But, this was kind of an eye-opener. It hasn't happened in several years, and I haven't really had a problem with it recently. That was the eye-opener of, okay, it's probably time to look into this a little bit more. Let's get this fixed. So there's some really good people at NASCAR Medical. I'm fortunate enough to be running in a national series that I get the good help and the specialists and the best people around to help me out with that. So, we're just jumping through the hoops. I'm all cleared to race. I've raced since then in the late model series and been all good. I feel totally normal, but we might do some treatment over the off season, a little more PT than I'm already doing to try to make sure I'm all good. But just taking all the preventative measures. But definitely not a damper on anything.
Well, I can tell you, as somebody that's had to have physical therapy and all that mess for shoulder issues, it's no joke. But we're glad you're okay, and we're glad you're able to celebrate without any restrictions there. Lane, thank you for joining us. Congrats again on the win, and best of luck Thursday night in the Tennessee Hills.
Yep, I'm looking forward to it. Appreciate all you listeners.